Hello, Bozo.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is gonna be a kind of a serious video, just addressing a topic. And as y'all know, I'm in the military. So I wanted to talk about specifically the people in the military, more specifically the different types of people. So one of the most common forms of getting in trouble in the military is retaliation of someone who dislikes another person. If you're a regular person and you just trying to do your job in the army, there's gonna be a bunch of people that just find a way to fuck it up for you. So I'm gonna tell y'all a little story, right? I have a coworker named, should I say his name? Hell no. Nah. We're gonna call him Tim. I myself have been in the army for over 2 years now. You basically get to understand fully how the people are, the struggles of being a private. You basically get more of a feel of the overall environment once you hit 2 years. So my coworker, Tim, he is fairly new in the army. By new, what I mean is he made it to this duty station about like 6 months ago. And you know what happened when he got to this unit? He had to get surgery. So you know what that means? Now he got to take like, what was it, 2 months off after he comes back to work from surgery. So for some reason, this dude, every time we have work to do, this dude is dragging his feet. Anytime we'll be like, okay, we got to do this at this time. He would literally be like, oh, I don't wanna. If you're new in the army and you just joined, you basically haven't done anything yet. Once you're officially in your duty station, that's when you do all the stuff that regular army people do, like doing the work that higher ranks don't want to do. They'll put those tasks on new soldiers. If you have a task, all you have to do is do it, right? They tell you what task you have to do it. Don't complain. There's a difference between complaining and venting, right? Because some of us, we need to like talk things out, alleviate all the stress that we're going through working. This guy in particular, Tim, he complains a lot. And I'm like, how come I never complain, but you just got in the army? I have like quadruple your time of service and you're already here complaining when we haven't really done anything yet. And the thing about complaining is the people around you, they don't want to hear that shit. The job would be easier if you could just do the job with your coworker without complaining, and then you guys could just like struggle together, because that's how it's supposed to be with your coworker. You're supposed to be cool with your coworker so that the job doesn't seem as stressful as it is. It actually takes some of the stress away. It got to a point where I'm like, hey, this dude is really pissing me off. And to be honest, it takes a lot to piss me off because I don't do anything to nobody. I literally mind my business. I gotta do a job. Let me do my thing. I'm here to work and that's it. Here to work and go home and that's it, bro. I messaged him and I'm like, look, man, you can't be complaining all the time because nobody wants to hear that. And he would be complaining around a bunch of higher ups. You should not be complaining around your bosses and managers, because it gives that perception that you don't want to be here and you don't want to do shit. If you joined the army, you had to have known what was coming. You know what you signed up for. So I'm like, hey man, you gotta stop complaining as much, because we're starting to look bad and it makes us seem like we're just here to do nothing and not work. And for a while he understood, like, yeah, maybe I should stop complaining. It got less severe and then he started like complaining again. However, recently, so basically there's this thing called a team leader. The team leader's job is to lead the people in your section. So whoever is with the same job, there has to be a team leader so that everything runs smoothly. I have only been in the army for 2 years, and while that may seem like a long time, for the first 9 months of my army career, I wasn't really doing a lot of my job specifically. In the army, everyone works. We all have duties to do.
Shut your lame ass up, nigga.
We all have our own individual tasks, and if you don't have a task, they'll probably make you do something. But as in my job specifically, I wasn't being handed out tasks to do. My old team leader, when she left, I realized I'm supposed to be doing a lot more than I thought. Let's picture my job as like a regular let's say fast food restaurant or something like that, right? Let's say I work at Starbucks and I'm a cashier. So there's cashiers, baristas. So there's regular employees, there's supervisors, and then there's managers, and then I think next is like the store owner. Picture me as like a cashier. There are cashiers and baristas. We get paid the same, but we have different tasks. I work with another cashier. We're all tasked to do the same job. This other cashier wants to get promoted to, let's say, supervisor. This dude Tim is around the supervisors, the general managers, the store owners, and he's talking about how good that he is at his job. So basically the perception is this dude must know what he's doing. This dude must deserve more. He deserves to get promoted. He shouldn't be in this position. He's making himself look good so that he can promote. If you are so good at your job, you do not need to go to other people and let them know how good you are. However, the military is so stupid in GTA that if you tell somebody how good of a worker you are, they'll be like, oh, he is a good worker. Yeah, and you could literally say anything. You could make up lies and they'll be like, oh wow, he's a really good worker. Let me tell you something about this dude Tim, right? This is my rank, right? They call this a specialist, right? This dude is a specialist as well. Do you know what a specialist is? Specialist means you basically have been in the army. You've been in the army 2 years. This dude has not been in the army for 2 years. Y'all wanna know how he got this rank? I think the reason he got promoted, because in the army they do this thing where you get to promote faster if you have like previous school. Basically, you could boost your rank faster by having college. He wasn't in the army for 2 years, but it looks like it because he has this. I'm working with somebody the same rank as me with a fourth the time of service as me, but everybody around me, the baristas, the supervisors, they all think this dude has been in the army for 2 years because of the way he talks, the way he says things, and the way he tries to boast himself up. Because to be honest, if I were to do the same thing, people would see me as a better worker. But I'm not gonna do that because I wanna let the work show for me. I'm not gonna go to people and be like, I've been working hard. If you can't see that I'm working hard, then I don't care if you see me at all. I'm just here to work. So the whole time they're looking at this dude like he's some expert. Whole time he hasn't been in the army a year. So basically in the military, there is something called basic training, AIT, and then there's your actual duty station where you actually become a soldier. So there's 1, 2, 3. These two parts, this is where you learn to become a soldier, the facts and the knowledge behind it. Here's where you learn how to do your specific job, and then here's where you're actually a real soldier. You do your job and things like that. Let me tell you something. This dude skipped basic training. He went to AIT. Do you know how long his AIT was? His AIT was about 16 weeks. Went from AIT to his duty station. So let's do the math. 16 weeks. He comes to his actual duty station around like November. So from the time November till now is about, I'm not that good at math.
Embarrassing.
Like 7 months. Then you want to add the 16 weeks. We're gonna just round up and say it's like over a year. You have people with this rank, 2 years in the army, 3 years in the army, even 8 years in the army. So anytime this dude Tim has an accomplishment, he does something right, AKA your job, he feels the need to talk about it. We're all here to do our jobs, bro. The people who he's talking to and letting him know the things he's done, they're eating that shit up. They're basically saying, oh wow, now that you mention it, yeah, you've done this and that. Whole time I'm doing the same thing. You know why these people don't think I can do my job? I don't go around and say I can do my job. I literally just come to work. Whatever job there is for me to do, I'm gonna do it to the best of my ability. Now here's another problem. Nobody's perfect, right? Even in the military, nobody's perfect. Look, at the end of the day, all you can do is the best you can. If you make a mistake while you're doing the best you can, I personally don't think you should feel bad about yourself. So think about me, I make mistakes from time to time. My thing is, when I make a mistake, I know what I did wrong and I try not to do it again. And typically I don't do it again. When it comes to my job, I'm kind of a slow learner. I need to really go to my teacher and be like, hey, this is what I'm lacking on. I know a lot of people picked up on this quicker. Can you teach me about this? Can you teach me about that? And that's basically how I am as a worker. So whenever this dude is talking about him and boasting about him, he also goes to those same people and he talks about me. And you know what he says to those people? He basically says, oh, I can do all these things and it's easy for me. Man, I'm the expert. And this dude Cologne, he did this mistake And it's like, how did you make that mistake? I thought that was common sense. I'm an expert. I thought, shouldn't you be an expert? You've been in the army longer than me. He does that to other people. And you know what that does to me? It makes me look bad. And here's the problem with that. In the military, there are things called award ceremonies. Like, hey, you've been working hard. I want to recognize you for your hard work. Here's an award. And there's a bunch of people get to witness you get this award. It's a nice little coin. When you talk shit about me, when I'm in your camp, like I'm your fellow cashier, it makes me look bad, it makes them look down on me, and it makes them see me as a bad soldier. Usually, I don't care what people think about me, but when you purposely make me look bad, when I'm just here trying to do my job, I have a problem with that. I come to work and I just do work. I do the best I can, bro. It's not like I'm trying to dodge work. Then you're out here making me look bad. While people are looking at me like, oh, here comes this bad soldier. You expect me to just feel motivated and want to go the extra mile and do certain things? If I'm being honest, it really doesn't motivate me. So you talking shit about me. When shit hits the fan, I'm not gonna care. You know why? Because everybody looks at me a certain way. I'm not gonna try to convince y'all that I'm good at my job. To be honest, you shouldn't want to try to convince people through your words. You should convince people through your actions. Now, here's my thing, right? Before this, I used to work at Starbucks, believe it or not. I used to work at Starbucks for 2 years. I'm not gonna lie, when I worked at Starbucks, it was so overwhelming to the point where when I was a cashier, I would get so nervous because when I was working at Starbucks, I think I was like 19 or something like that. I basically got put into the world after high school, not knowing any like social cues, not knowing a lot about how even to communicate properly and how to like talk to other people. I know that sounds crazy. When you're isolated your whole life and you're just raised to go to school, not to interact much with people outside, not to interact with your own family, it really affects you to the point where when you actually are an adult and you're released into this world, you don't know shit. I'm here working at Starbucks when I first get hired. I don't know how to do nothing. And there's a lot of tasks in regular jobs like these that you're kind of expected to know. So even as a cashier, I'm struggling, bro. I'm struggling. I couldn't make drinks, obviously, things like that. But you know what my skill set in particular was? Basically, I never give up, bro. If I have a task to do and I want to get it done, to help out my teammates, whatever, I'm gonna figure out how to get it done, bro. It does not matter how long it takes me. I have resilience. And I only have the resilience about things that I care about. There are people who might know the job off rip better than me, but trust me, if I stay in there long enough, I might just be better than you. I say all this to say, you're gonna have people that you work with that piss you off. The right thing to do is to ignore them and just try your best. Some people are assholes. You might be a genuinely good person and they might try to get you out of your character. You just have to keep doing your best. When I was in basic training and I was getting my gear, my stuff to get started, one of the guys handing me my uniform, he told me to look up. He said, look up for me for a second and read that. So I look up. It's a sign, and the sign says, if you think about quitting, remember why you started. I believe that's exactly what it said. That quote alone, it really motivated me to start and finish basic training without ever even thinking about giving up. And to this day, I still think about that. There are a lot of times where you just want to quit. Whether it be you want to start a family, you want to support them financially, you want to have good college, you want to have something that you can benefit from the army. Just remember why you started. Like, remember those reasons and hold on to that tight, because there's going to be times where people test you. It's really a test of your character. The more you can take those situations, the better off you are. I don't have nothing else. This means a lot for me. I don't necessarily like this job, but it is what it is.